Welcome to 32 videos in 32 days, where I will be counting down the last 32 days before the NFL season begins with a different team's preview every single day. Today we will be doing the team that I believe will finish first in the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit that post notification bell so you don't miss your favorite team's preview. Let's get right into this one. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series so far, I will be doing the positives and negatives, the record predictions, and the season awards for every single team. Let's start out with the positives for the New Orleans Saints, there's a lot of positives for the Saints. Now, as I'm filming this video, like 20 minutes ago, I found out that Bryan Bresee is going to miss the season with a partially torn ACL, which is really tough for this team. Or is he going to miss the whole season? Let me check the Adam Schefter thing real quick. Oh, wow. Chris Brazzell, moderate LCL tear in his left knee in practice. Yep, Bresee has torn his ACL, or they fear he has torn his ACL, so technically he hasn't. We're not entirely sure about it yet, but by the time this video gets out, I'm pretty sure we'll have the news that he tore his ACL and he's out for the season, which really sucks. I think that he is a solid play. I think at the end of the season last year, he looked really solid. And again, this defense was pretty good last year. I think they were 15th, but what really draws you to this team is the offense. They have a good offensive line. Their run game is going to be great with Travis Etienne and Alvin Kamara. Wide receiver room is Chris Olave and Jordan Tyson, both guys who I think are talented enough to be wide receiver ones as long as they can stay healthy. And I think that the Saints are by far the best team in this division. I mean, if we talk about this wide receiver room real quick, I think Chris Olave, as long as he can stay healthy, is so dynamic. I think he can do anything that any other wide receiver can do. He just doesn't get a lot of credit for it. And Jordan Tyson is just unreal as a prospect, man. Like, his injuries took him down a little bit, but he's the most fluid runner. I just, watching Jordan Tyson play, I'm an Arizona State fan. You can see my Cam Scatterbo jersey in the back. Watching Jordan Tyson play this season was such a treat, man. I don't think there's anything that he can't do. He can make you miss in the open field. He's the best route runner in the draft, whether it is zone or man coverage. He can catch the ball over anybody. He is such an electric playmaker, man. Like, it's just so fun to watch Jordan Tyson play. And I feel like he can easily be a top 5 wide receiver later in his career. It just matters about these injuries. So, like, this wide receiver core looks so awesome. And then we go to the running back core. They signed Travis Etienne, who is amazing. I think he's an underrated running back in the NFL. He's dynamic. I think he's a tough runner. And I think he is pretty good when he catches the ball out of the backfield. But he doesn't need to catch the ball out of the backfield because he has one of the best catchers out of the backfield in the NFL behind him in Alvin Kamara, who has lost a step. I mean, he's an older player, but he's still Alvin Kamara. He's still somebody that you have to watch out for. And now he's not going to be the running back one. It'll probably be like a 60-40 split between Travis and Alvin Kamara. And that's exactly what you would want out of this backfield. And this is just all lining up well to pair perfectly with Tyler Shuck, who I think took some major strides at the end of last season. They looked like the best team in this division because of the fact that Tyler Shuck was playing some fantastic football. He was playing clutch football, and it was fun to watch him play. I think he's a good runner. He's a good playmaker, and I think he can make some solid throws with his arm. It'll be fun to see how this team really looks this season, and a lot of this team's success will hinge on how good this defense and how good Tyler Shuck really is. Now, this gets to where my negatives are. The negatives for the Saints are that even with their amazing stretch last season at the end of the year, the schedule was pretty easy. So with the schedule being easy, I'm not entirely positive that what we saw at the end of last year is exactly what we're going to get. I've said this before, and I said it in my predictions video with like Drew Lock. I have PTSD because he was a second-round quarterback that looked fantastic at the end of the season in his rookie season and then just was completely atrocious the rest of his career. I'm not saying that is going to happen with Tyler Shuck, but I'm saying that it can happen with Tyler Shuck because of the fact that their schedule wasn't that difficult at the end of the year. And I think there still was some problems with Tyler Shuck making some layered throws, and I feel that a lot of his success at the end of last season came from people just not knowing what they're going to get from him. He was rushing the ball a lot more. I'm also just not 100% sold on this defense quite yet, especially with the loss of Bryan Bresee. But at the end of the season, when they did look really good, like I said with Tyler Shuck, it was against a bunch of teams that just weren't very good. So I'm not 100% sold on their defense being a really, really good unit quite yet, but we will see. Let's get to these record predictions. Now, the Saints are currently 3-3. We had them beating Atlanta, Carolina, and Tampa Bay once, as well as losing to them all once. I think they're going to split the season series with every single team just because this division is close together. Even though I think that New Orleans is the best team and will win the division, I think it'll be pretty close between the rest of them. Now, week 1 against Detroit, I have them beating Detroit. Now, Detroit is a fantastic team. I think overall Detroit is probably a better team than New Orleans. And I also think Detroit's offense is probably going to have a lot of success against New Orleans defense. But I feel an upset. You know, sometimes it doesn't matter who the better team is. Sometimes an upset is just brewing. And I don't know why this Detroit game feels like an upset for me, and New Orleans is going to win and show some people why they are a good team. Week 2, I don't think that they're going to be able to beat Baltimore. Again, Lamar Jackson just kills NFC teams. I think he's only lost like 1 or 2 games in his entire career against NFC teams. So like, I just think that they're going to win this game. Then against Las Vegas, I think New Orleans is going to be the better team and they're going to win that one. We already talked about Atlanta. Then they play Minnesota. I think Minnesota's defense is really, really good. And that's going to be too much for New Orleans. I don't think New Orleans defense is going to be enough to stop Minnesota's offense. And Minnesota's defense is definitely going to be enough to stop New Orleans offense. But I do think that they will beat the Giants. I do think that they will beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they will go into the bye week at 5-2. I think they have a lot of favorable matchups in this first part of their season. Then coming out of the bye week, I think they beat Cleveland. You can see Cleveland's 0-8. I don't think that they're going to be very good. I think they're straight up one of the worst teams in the league by far. They don't have a good quarterback situation. They don't have a good situation at what feels like any position besides like running back and edge. So, and even edge is not as good as it used to be. So then they'll play at home against Carolina. I think they take the first game there. Again, I think they will lose that second game when they're at Carolina, but when they're at home, I think they're going to be able to take that win. Then against Chicago, I think Chicago is going to be able to win that game. I think their offense is so good, and if we're pinning offenses against each other, I think Chicago is going to edge out that game. Then they play Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a really good football team. I don't believe that the Saints are good enough to beat Cincinnati. Then they'll go against Green Bay. I think Green Bay's really good as well. But I just don't think that they're gonna. I unfortunately do not believe that the Saints are gonna win that game, but they definitely have a chance. This is the part of the year where Micah Parsons may be back for the Packers. So if Micah Parsons is back by week 13, I think that makes it even easier of a win. I do think it will be a close game though. This is just a tough stretch of games, a couple division games away, and then you have just really good offenses all through here. So it's just going to be a really tough stretch for New Orleans, but I do think that they snap it with beating Arizona. Arizona's a really bad football team, and I think that's a pretty easy win for them. And then they'll lose to Atlanta and then beat Tampa Bay in the last game of the year, and I expect them to go 9-8 and win the division. I think there's relatively high variance with New Orleans. I think they can upset some teams later in the year maybe. Maybe they beat Cincinnati or Chicago or Green Bay, or maybe they sweep one of the teams in their division, which is entirely possible. I'm not entirely sure, but if I had to pick, I think this team is around a 9-8 to 10-17. But I do think that they are the best team in their division and they will win this division. And if you haven't seen the other videos that I made in this division, this is what I feel like it will look like with New Orleans winning it, Carolina second, Atlanta and Tampa Bay tied for that third spot. Let's get to these award predictions. At MVP, I will actually pick Tyler Shuck. I think that at best he will be their MVP. There's a lot of other guys that I could choose here, like maybe Chris Olave, maybe Travis Etienne, who actually Travis Etienne will be my offensive player of the year, but we'll get to that in a minute. It could be a few different players, but I think overall if this team is as good as I think it is going to be, then Tyler Shuck will be the MVP. And then, like I said, Offensive Player of the Year, I have Travis Etienne. I think he had a really, really good year last year. I think he's had a few good years in his career. He's had some down years, but I think Travis is a very solid running back, and he's going to be really good in this system, especially with a very solid backup running back, just like he did have last season. I think he'll end up being the Offensive Player of the Year this season. I think there is definitely competition. Jordan Tyson can come in and be an immediate impact in this team, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was already wide receiver 1. I think he's already talented, more talented than Chris Olave. So if he plays a whole season, then there's a real chance that Jordan Tyson is the best offensive player on this team. I think Chris Olave, if he plays a whole season, does also have a chance to win it if Jordan Tyson has some injury problems. So there's a real chance that a bunch of different players could win this award, but I think the Offensive Player of the Year will be Travis Etienne this season. And I think the Defensive Player of the Year is kind of a reach for me, but I'm going to choose Caden Ellis. I think he's a fantastic player, and he now comes into to a defense where he's going to be the main linebacker, or like the number 1 linebacker since Demario Davis left. So I believe he's going to have a really good season, and he's going to be able to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's really hard to see who else is going to like separate themselves on this core of defense. So my choice is Caden Ellis, but it could be anybody else. The Breakout Player of the Year, I've been ogling him all episode. I don't care. I'm an Arizona State fan. The Breakout Player of the Year is going to be Jordan Tyson. If he plays a whole season, he's just going to be utterly ridiculous, and I think he's going to be easily the breakout player. I know it's hard to say like, oh, he's a rookie. Is it really a breakout if he's a rookie? But yes, yeah, he's going to be ridiculous. And the addition of the offseason was, it was a debate between Tyson and Travis Etienne, but I think at the end of the day, Travis Etienne is going to be the more impactful player because this team needs a run game, and he's going to be so good for this team in the run game. So I went with Travis Etienne being the addition of the offseason at the end of the season for the New Orleans Saints. That'll be it for my Saints season preview. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that post notification bell so you don't miss your favorite team's video, and I will see you guys tomorrow.